Hello lovely people. If I've got my timing right, I want to wish a Merry Christmas Eve to you all. If I haven't managed to upload this before I go away for Christmas, then Happy New Year? I don't know which one it's going to be.
Doobie 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 doo. Doobie 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 Sophie Vlogs.
I do not have a festive video for you today, despite it being the day before Christmas, because I'm looking ahead to January. So this year, I've decided that I'm going to take part in Tome Infinity Round 2 Readathon? I don't really know what the official title is there. We're just going to go with it. So, this is a science fiction read-along, run by the lovely Meg at Tome Infinity. Other people are also co-running it, like Sarcasm and Sci-Fi. I honestly can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head. I probably should have written them down, but I will include links below so that if you also want to join in after I've explained it a little bit more, you can check them all out and you can come aboard and all that jazz. I'm just going to go into this. So, I missed Tome Infinity Round 1. I just wasn't present for that. So I'm going to start from Round 2, but I'm going to have to do like a little extra to like catch me up. So, the basic concept is, there's been a big disaster on Earth, you've got to leave, got to go to a planet, and then when you're on the planet, you've got to build up your civilization, rebuild the world, if you will. And there are prompts, there are tiers, there are prompts in each tier, and it's all to help you build up your civilization. You can reuse books, which I'm doing, and that's the gist. I'm just going to go into my reading list, and then if you're not familiar with this, it should become clear as I go on, and if you are familiar with it, then you don't need me to explain it anymore. That felt like a waffle. I'm just going to go for it now. So, for those who are left behind on Earth, we have escape shuttles heading your way. To board, read a book describing the apocalypse that took place. I have chosen for this War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. I know technically, like, because I've seen the film, that the world doesn't really end, but like, I feel like it's enough for me to want to get the hell out of there. After that is read a book to instruct your pilot where you would like to land and build your new settlement. I went for, all of the different planets have different prompts. I went for Mercury, the smallest planet, read a book under 250 pages. So I've gone for The Three Electroknights by Stanislaw, and this is a collection of 4 short stories by Stanislaw. I've never read anything by him before, so I'm really excited to check this out, and it should be a little, like, dips into each one. So that's me set up on Mercury. For the rest of this, I had a lot of fun picking my to-read list, because I don't read that much science fiction. I do read science fiction, but I also read a whole load of other genres. So it's not like my specialty. And I actually read a lot of science fiction in 2018. Good lord, I've lost track of life. 2018. So my to-read pile is actually a little bit depleted. So I asked my dad for help, because he's like an old school science fiction fan. I've lost the ability to talk, I'm sorry. It's been a long week. So I've got what I think is a nice mix of some more recent science fiction, but actually a lot of like classic sci-fi for me to like get to know, with a lot of big name authors who I've never read before. So a lot of these are actually on my Kindle, or haven't arrived yet from my dad, but let's just go forth. Okay, so you will need to start with tier 1 and continue to the next tier after in order to meet your basic needs for survival and build up your empire. You can assign the same book to multiple prompts, which is what I have done. Tier 1, basic survival. For the prompt air, I've gone for Warlord of the Air by Michael Moorcock, which is a sort of alternative Edwardian reality that involves a lot of airships, a lot of zeppelins, and one of Michael Moorcock has this recurring theme of like the eternal champion, who in all these different multiverses there is like one figure whose job it is to sort of like keep the balance between like law and chaos, and I gather that this is another eternal champion, one that I'm not familiar with yet. So I'm really excited for that. I've also repeated this. I've repeated this for tier 3 for Technology Industrial Revolution, because I feel like a key part of this multiverse aspect with this reality that we're going to be in is that the Industrial Revolution was different, and it had a lot of airships and zeppelins are a whole thing. So like, 2 done there. Then, Water, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. There's a shitload of water in the sea. And then, Fire, I've gone for Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, because obviously burning of the books, and I can't believe I've never read it yet, and I need to do it, and I've been wanting to read it for ages. Food, I've gone for A Close and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers, which is the second book in her Wayfarer trilogy, series. I went for this because Dr. Chef is one of my favourite characters of all time, because he's a doctor and a chef, and a lot of the first book was like him, like, talking about food, and especially growing food for the different people on the ship, so I thought that would work really well. And then I've also repeated that for, again, Tier 3 higher education specialised subjects, because I gathered that our little AI, who something happened to in the first book, and I will be vague, there's some relearning going on, and I thought that might be an interesting little tie into that tier. Next up we have Sleep, and I've gone for The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is about a man who, when he sleeps, he dreams, and then he wakes to find that his dreams have altered reality. I've also used it, again, for religion, because, and I've not read it, but I love me some Ursula K. Le Guin, the blurb bit said something along the lines of, like, playing God, and I don't know if playing God is in relation to this person who's dreaming and who's affecting the world, or I gather he goes to see this, like, psychologist to try and get help, and I don't know if the psychologist becomes the one who is playing God, but I thought that might be an interesting tie into religion, not necessarily with, like, a social structure of religion in the actual world, but this idea of playing God rather than being God. If that makes sense. For the final prompt for Tier 1, which is Shelter, I've gone for Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Number one, I sort of interpreted a station as a piece of shelter, so that's why I went for it, but I'm also reusing this for Tier 2, Small Settlements, prompt Medicine, because I gather that there's like a big disease that wipes a bunch of people out, and maybe some medicine would have been a good thing. So I'm really excited for this one because I've heard so much hype, and I was like determined to include it. So I'm hoping that that works for those prompts. I don't know. To continue Tier 2, Education, I've gone for Foundation by Isaac Asimov, and this was on the recommendation of my dad. He told me that Foundation would work for both education and trading. I don't actually know why. I gather that it's like, you use people, they like split off, they like created like their own like intergalactic sort of empire type thing, and now that there are some problems, and it's like, do they fight against these things, or do they like accept them, or whatever? I'm sorry for being so vague. I know it's like a real big name in science fiction, so I'm excited to read it. I just, mostly my dad was like, that'll work, so I've accepted that it will. There's another dad recommendation for procreation, which is Make Room by Harry Harrison, which I gather it's like an alternative, like, Us, but essentially there are just too many people. Cities are overcrowded, there have been too many babies born, and this guy has to, like, fight his way through a city to get somewhere or something. That's, again, very vague. It's just a Dave recommendation. He was like, you should also do this one, and I was like, okay, thanks, Dad. Next up, we've got Travel, and I've gone for 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. I don't think I have to explain why this one is for travel. It's an odyssey, they're floating through space. I've never seen the film or read the book, so I might try and do both. I might try and also watch the film as part of this moment, because, like, I keep meaning to, I just haven't done it yet. And again, like, foundational sci-fi, yes. Oral communication, I've gone for Embassytown, because my understanding is that there's a really interesting method of communication in that, and that our main character is sort of somehow was part of the language but also can't necessarily speak the language. I don't know, but there is a whole thing to do with language in that, so I'm very excited for that one. And I'm also reusing that one for Tier 3, Urban Settlements Infrastructure, because again, it's like a town, it's like infrastructure is the setting type thing. Okay, to cap off Tier 3, because I forgot to repeat some, I'm also doing for class system, I'm repeating Make Room, because it is all to do with class and social structure, and that is part of the key reason that the world is overcrowded and stuff like this. And then for government, I am repeating Foundation, because again, I was told that would work, because they've made this like intergalactic sort of empire type thing. That's all I'm going for. There are 6 tiers in total. I'm being practical. That's 14 books. I'm confident that I can, if not do all of that, take a damn good stab at all of that. But I feel like setting myself any more is probably, you know, a little aiming too high, I think. So I'm really excited. I originally was going to join up with people, and then I sort of created my book list and I got really hyped. If there's anyone who would like to just go from Tier 4 onwards, let me know and we can see what we can do. But, yeah, this is all petering out slightly because I'm like, oh, these are all my books. I'm really excited to read them in January. I'm currently reading over Christmas, Catherine Arden, some lovely, lovely, like, Russian folktale inspired, like, fantasy, so yay for that. Hope you're having a really nice Christmas. Let me know what your Christmas reads are. Let me know if you're planning on taking part in Tome Infinity, / if this has just made you want to read some sci-fi or something. That's great. And yeah, I'm really excited to take part in this. This is the most complex readathon I've ever done. I don't really take part in readathons very much because I'm a bit of a mood reader. But I just got really excited by Meg's video. So, yes. If you're also taking part, I would love to hear what you're reading and all that jazz. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go. I hope you have a really nice day, and I will see you next week for something different.